So in this segment, I'm going to be talking about pre-screening sellers. When you find sellers who are willing to be the bank for you, how do you pre-screen sellers? How do you pre-screen all those hundreds or even thousands of sellers if you're outbound calling? And on the inbound calls, how do you pre-screen all those? Ultimately, you as the business owner shouldn't be talking to 700 people a week to buy a couple of houses. You should be talking to the minority who've already given you a reason to call them back and you believe they want to do business with you. Otherwise, your time will be tied up on the phone nonstop and you'll soon begin to dread every time the phone rings. Believe me, I sent out a marketing list of 700 and something letters and it worked. The challenge was I drove them all to my cell phone, and after about 140 calls later, over a 2-day period, over 100 in one single day, I said, I've got to figure out a different way to pre-screen these calls because this is not going to keep up. So when it comes to pre-screening the calls, there is several ways you can do it. My first recommended way is to get someone answering the phone for you. There's a 24-hour answering service that I use called Pat Live, and I use them because they answer the calls for me 24/7. They're never in a bad mood. They're never not answering because they're at dinner. They're a 24 live answering service. So regardless if you call me day or night, if you call in the day, you might, depending on what number you call, get somebody at the office. If you call after hours at night, you're still going to get a live answer from a live person because Pat Live answers the phones for me in my real estate investing business. So use somebody to answer the calls for you, and they ask them a series of questions and find out if you got a reason to talk to them. So when it comes to inbound calls, sellers who saw your ad, saw your marketing, saw whatever, get an answering service answering that for you. It's not a big amount of money, and believe me, you'll be grateful you did. After that, how do we pre-screen them when we're outbound dialing? Well, there's several ways we pre-screen the outbound calls. One is we hire virtual assistants to do it. That's a very successful way to be able to talk to hundreds or even thousands of sellers and be able to run a full-fledged real estate business. Again, I still buy several houses every single month and only operate personally on a few hours a week. Why? Because I outsource most things to now I have a team, in-house team as well, because of the volume I do and the multiple businesses I run. In the beginning, though, it was me and my brother started working with me not too long after I started in the business, and VA and a phone answering service. So after you've discovered these sellers, whatever facet that is, whether it's outbound calls for sale by owners or inbound calls using one of the 30-something marketing methods that I do and teach, the objective is to pre-screen them as quickly as possible. And there is a basic sheet that I have filled out, and it goes something like this. We want to know the seller's name, of course, the phone number and the address. Then here's the key questions. I ask them, the asking price, make sure you ask them the asking price. It's $400,000. My next question is, great. Now you still have a mortgage on the house, right? The answer is no. Then we proceed on to ask them if they'll take payments for their equity. If the answer is yes, I say, okay, do you know about how much you owe on that? Now, after we find out how much they owe, then we move on. And if they owe $370 and they're asking $400, then my next question is, will you sell for what you owe? If they owe $100 and they're asking $400, then I proceed on with, okay, the way it usually works is we agree on a price and make you a monthly payment until we pay you off in full. Is that something that you would consider? And the answer is yes. My VA immediately sends that over to me and my team. If it's a yes, you should make sure your VA knows to immediately send the deal to you, because that's what I consider a hot lead or a prospect. If they say no, I just need all my cash now, and that's going to go to the bottom of the stack. For my creative finance business, we are looking for people who are willing to wait on their money. We're looking for people who are willing to take payments. So after they get the questions answered, find out what the asking price for the house is, what the debt amount is, if the seller's willing to take payments, and if the house needs any work and what's it worth. They do a quick little search online, and again, you don't have to be a realtor or an appraiser or anything else. You just want to find out if they're asking 400 grand for $1 million house. Maybe even if they say no to terms, it might be something you should explore. And if they, of course, are asking 400 and it's worth 400, well, that's a pretty normal deal. So now we're looking, the only way we're going to buy that is to, if they say yes to terms, if they say yes to creative financing. So after you have got that lead sheet filled out, the objective, again, is that it comes to you as soon as possible. Now, I recommend calling every single lead sheet back. So regardless of whether they said yes or no, they should be called back. And I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how we call that back and what we do. The point of this lesson is to get them pre-screened and to get them pre-screened deals coming to you. Because again, the common question I get from investors who are some doing deals and some who are not doing a lot of deals is there's just no owner financing deals in my area. And my response is always the same. There's lots of owner financing deals in every area. You just have to ask the right questions to find them. If you pick up the phone and call 10 for sale by owners in your local city off of Zillow, it's highly unlikely you're going to buy an owner finance, creative finance deal of some sort from that. That, on the other hand, if you have somebody dialing hundreds of for sale by owners in your local area, or you have an ad campaign up where they're calling you by the dozens, and every single day you're getting 2 to 5 completed lead sheets, people who say, yes, I will take monthly payments for my property, then you got a whole different business. You got a whole different model. I thought at first, I'll take the calls myself. I'll pre-screen them myself. That went downhill really fast. Why? Because from the time I woke up in the morning, my phone was ringing till the time I went to bed at night. And before long, I thought this business is starting to really not be cool. And so I want you to enjoy your business, just like I enjoy my business every single day. Why do I enjoy it? Because I've delegated off all that front end work. You can do it for a few bucks, get you a virtual assistant, get you an answering service. It doesn't cost that much, and it will not only help keep your life in a capacity and a schedule of which you can enjoy, it will also make you in a lot better mood, or at least it does me. I don't like having calls from 400 people in a day, 398 of which I'm not going to do business with. If your objective is to buy 10 houses this year, or maybe you're already doing that amount of deals and your objective is to ramp it up and buy 200 houses this year, it doesn't matter. The same question I have to you is, if your objective is to buy 10 houses this year, would you rather talk to 50 people that have been pre-screened by the VA and gave you the answer that they're willing to take terms, and out of those 50 people you talk to, buy your 10 houses, or would you rather have to talk to 500 people, all of which are many having a bad day and wondering why you're asking them these questions and so on and so forth. And before long, they're in a bad mood. And because you called them, you're in a bad mood and the cycle begins. That's not what I want for you. Make sure you're pre-screening the properties. Make sure you're talking to the minority who give you a reason to believe that they want to do business with you, not the majority who put their house up and want all cash at retail value and won't ever agree to take monthly payments or anything remotely similar to that. 27% of the outbound calls state that they will entertain accepting monthly payments. Now, of that 27%, not near all of them do we buy, of course, because some of them want way too much down or want terms that are just absolutely unreasonable. Again, it's about getting through the majority to get down to the minority, pre-screen them so that you can talk to the minority and buy as many houses as you want. And then it's simply a faucet that you're turning on at will. If your objective is to buy more houses and halfway through the year you look and go, oh my goodness, I'm on track to double my objective. If you want more houses, all you got to do is turn the faucet up. Doesn't matter to you, it's a few more dollars to the virtual assistant floor, or perhaps a few more dollars to the ad campaign. If that's the case, then simply put some more money at that and buy more houses. And then it becomes a business decision rather than, oh my goodness, I've got to talk to all these unmotivated sellers again today. So make sure you got the pre-screening set up. If you're going to build this thing out to any level at all, and you're wanting to get you some creative finance deals into the pipeline, set up your pre-screening. You'll thank me later. You'll be grateful you did, and everything will begin to change. There's creative financing deals all over the US. It's just a matter of pre-screening properly so you don't get burned out before you get to them. So in this lesson, we've talked about pre-screening sellers, pre-screening houses, and how to deal with the minority and not have to talk to the majority of unmotivated sellers who never want to do business with you, how to get the few leads in that you want to do business with so you can get your creative finance business started or to the next level. I'll see you on the next class.